Assalamu alaikum everyone. So today we are going to be talking about what happens, what are the benefits or drawbacks of converting from one legal structure to another. So basically we have talked about four legal structures, the basic four legal structures in private sector, that are sole traders, partnership, private limited companies and public limited companies. Now we are going to talking about what happens, what are the benefits, what are drawbacks if we convert from one to another and vice versa. So just a little info about what this format is. Now I've written over here converting from partnership to sole traders. So what are the benefits of converting from partnership to sole traders and what are the drawbacks? But you can also do it the reverse way, like if you're converting from sole traders to partnership, then these becomes the benefits and this becomes the drawbacks. So the benefits of converting from partnership to sole traders are the drawbacks of converting from sole traders to partnership. I hope you get that little idea behind the format that I'm using. So without further ado, let's begin. Now we have already discussed about what each of these legal structures are, the basic principles of each legal structure. So you can just use that for a quick idea of what happens, what are the benefits or drawbacks. But over here I've just given a brief info about what happens. So when you convert from partnership to sole traders, what happens? One of the first things that happen is that you don't have any more partners. You are the only one left, so you owner has full control. Whereas in partnerships you need consent of partners for decision making in partnership, though this becomes a benefit of sole traders. Now profit is retained by owner, profit needs to be distributed by partners. This is also a benefit of sole trader over partnership. Now there are no legal formalities, whereas in partnership there are deed of partnership that needs to be signed to decide responsibility, the amount of profit that needs to be shared, and stuff like that for each partner. So that's about that. Sorry, a little typo over here. Yeah, all good. And business can be suited to personal taste. That was one of the advantages of sole traders. So over here we've just told about what are the advantages a sole trader has over a partnership. If you want to be sole trader, what are the benefits that you have? Now we also have to see the other side of the coin, that if we want to be a sole trader, what are the drawbacks? What are the things that we are missing from partnership? So there's limited finance. Owner's own saving is the only source of finance available. Whereas in partnership, partners share investment. They all pull in their resources together. They all pull in their own savings together. So the risk is also minimized. Over here, in sole trader is generally more risky as compared to partnerships, because in partnerships risk is shared with partners. You're not the only one who has invested all his savings. There are few more people, and you are not it is not necessary that all of them have invested all their savings. They each might have like invested a percentage of their savings. So generally partnership is less risky as compared to sole traders. And also owner needs to be multi-skilled, because since they are the only one person, or you might have one or two employees, but most of the functions you need to handle on your own: accounting, marketing, research and development, all that needs to be done by the owner. Whereas in partnership they are the people, so roles can be divided with partners based on each person's strengths. So that's about the drawbacks that sole trader has over partnership, or you can say the benefits that partnership has over sole traders. So let's move on to the next point, the next conversion. Next we're talking about what happens when we convert from private limited company to public limited company or vice versa. Now the benefits of private limited company over public limited company. Private limited company and public limited company, the basic difference is that the shares can be sold to general public in public limited company, whereas it cannot be sold to general public in private limited company. So that becomes a great issue, that the small difference, that it makes a big difference for that, because all you can see the benefits and drawbacks that happens because of this. Since public limited company has more shares, it has to be accountable to the government. It has to show the potential investors what the business is about. So there's generally more media exposure in PLC. So relatively there's a less media exposure in private limited companies. And also there's a less transparency in private limited companies, because in public limited companies the accounts needs to be audited and full information on performance needs to be provided, as I said earlier. So public limited companies, they have greater transparency, they have more media exposure, whereas private limited company don't have any of those. So that becomes a benefit of private limited company. And permission of existing shareholders is needed to bring more shareholders. So which tells that there is a control. There is a somewhat control over buying and selling of shares. Who gets to buy shares? Who gets to sell shares? How many shares can be bought or sold? That everything is under control because you can't sell it directly to general public, and you need permission of each shareholder. Whereas in public limited company, that's not the case. There's no control over buying and selling of shares. Anyone can buy sell shares. Anyone can sell shares. So there's also a vulnerability to takeovers, because if someone gets a major proportion of the shares, they get to decide how the business is being run. So that becomes an issue with public limited companies. That's not the case with private limited companies. Yeah, this permission thing is also an drawback of private limited companies, but for now, when we consider the vulnerability of takeover and the control that it has, then this becomes an advantage. There's also less amount needed to set up the private limited company, and also less documentation is required. There's only generally MOA and AOA, public memorandum of association and articles of association. In public limited company, they require greater capital, greater startup capital. You need more documentation, so you need to hire more counselors to draft up those documentation. So that is costly and time consuming. In private limited company, that's not the case. So these are the benefits of private limited company. Now, the drawbacks of private limited company are basically what are the benefits that public limited company has when they can sell shares to the general public. And as public limited companies can sell shares to general public, it is easier to raise capital in public limited companies, from issuance of shares and selling of shares to new investors. They can issue shares anytime they want, and that is because of that they can easily get more finance. Yeah, the drawback is of course that in public limited company there's control is lost. There's a divorce between ownership and control that might take place, but and that becomes a benefit for private limited company. But the advantage it has over private limited company is that the finance that it is able to generate, it is able to generate a substantial amount of capital, substantial capital it can raise. PLC also has more prestigious profile and credit worthiness as compared to private limited companies. So that's a drawback of private limited company. They are not able to get as much of good things, as much of, you can say, benefits, benefits from government, or leniency from government, more facilities from banks. You can say overdraft facilities, for example. Not all private limited companies can get overdraft facilities, but public limited companies, since they have a greater status, then they are easily able to get overdraft facilities as well. And also they can get delayed payment from suppliers if they need some time, more time. Suppliers are willing to give more time for them as compared to private limited company. That we have discussed earlier in PVT and PLC separately. PLC status may reduce marketing costs. So since they have a greater status, so it is easily to marketing becomes a lot easier. The suppliers are also marketing your business, banks are also marketing your business. They have a big image, so that everything becomes the marketing basically becomes a lot easier in public limited companies as compared to private limited companies. Public limited companies are also listed on stock exchange. Over here, a little typo. Stock exchange, yeah. They're also listed on stock exchange. So growth in terms of mergers and acquisition is easy. You are easily able to, as the business is listed on stock exchange, the potential investors can see the business. They can merge them. Mergers could take place. Joint ventures could be formed, and acquisition is very easy. So all these are the benefits of public limited company over private limited company, or you can say the drawbacks of private limited company over PLC. So that covers the main two conversions. The next is converting from incorporated business to unincorporated business. Now why haven't done each of them alone is because, like, the basic difference is the same. The only difference, that small difference that might come, is because of a little change in those, a little difference between them separately. But in general, converting from incorporated to unincorporated business has the following benefits and drawbacks. For more specialized, you can just refer to the notes we have already discussed about sole traders and private limited company, public limited company partnerships. We've already discussed each structure separately, so you can relate to that. You can refer to that for more specialized differences. But generally, there's not much. These are the basic differences that you need to give for 2 marks answer, 3 mark answer, even an 8 mark answer. This should be enough. So the benefits of converting from incorporated to unincorporated, what that means is that there's more control over the business, because there's no system of shareholders or something. There's only partners in partnership, and in sole trader there's full control over the business because you are the only one, and there's greater percentage of profit is retained. In when we talk about converting from unincorporated, as in when we talk from incorporated to unincorporated, as in private limited company or public limited company to partnerships, when that happens, so there's a greater percentage of profit. A greater percentage of profit is retained, or even 100% if you're a sole trader. There are few or no legal formalities. Now, what that means is that there are no legal formalities required in basically sole traders. In partnership, there's a deed of partnership that needs to be signed, but nothing more, as compared to those MOA and AOA in incorporated businesses, which becomes quite a hassle for them, and there's a lot of fee required as well for those documents. Sorry, this should be a little bit not like this. The basic idea is this. Sorry. Yeah, that is what's happening when we say incorporated. This right side is an incorporated business, and left side is unincorporated businesses. Sorry for that mistake. Now, what are the drawbacks of converting from incorporated to unincorporated business? The basic drawback is, of course, the three things that we have discussed earlier when we talk about the difference between unincorporated and incorporated business, that the separate legal identity, continuity, and limited liability. Unincorporated business don't have a separate legal identity, they don't have continuity, and they have unlimited liability. That means owner's own wealth can be taken as a liability, instead of only the amount that they have invested in the business, which is only the case in incorporated business. So your whole property is the liability in unincorporated business. There's less reputation and credit worthiness in unincorporated business, because your business is generally a very small scale business, or even a medium scale business. They're not a medium to large scale business, as in the case of private limited companies or public limited companies, because they have a better name, they have better reputation, they get loans easily. Private partnerships and sole traders don't get loans so easily as do private limited or public limited companies. There's also a limitation of finance for growth, because they are not able to generate much finance. They only have their own savings, and the profits that they earn, they can't reinvest most of it, because the profits are also considerably lower. Even though they get a greater percentage of profit, the overall profit that is generated by the business is low. So public limited companies and private limited companies, they all generate very large amount of profit as compared to this unincorporated business, sole traders and partnership. So that's all about it. I guess that covers up the whole chapter now. There's also franchises and cooperatives and joint ventures, so look forward to that as well. Thanks for watching. Allah Hafiz.